Hey there, adventurers. I'm Norolf. Welcome to my role-playing game realm. So earlier this week, I received a package from a Kickstarter that I backed probably almost 2 years ago now, I guess. It was the Castles Crusades Adventurers Armory. I backed it back in June of 2023. They had originally estimated a delivery of May 2024, and well, it just showed up this past Tuesday. So it's May 20th. That was May 20th, 2025. I don't necessarily have an issue with how long it took, but I'm definitely looking forward to cracking open the books and seeing what we've got here. So I went with the Adventures Armory bundle. I can't remember what it was. I think it was basically all the new books with a few options and thrown in as well. So let's crack open what I've got here and see what we've see. Do a quick flip through of each of the books. I want to try and keep this video a little bit on the shorter side. So anyways, we've got the Mostrous Armory. We've got the Adventurers Armory. We have War Mounts. Expanding Classes Squared. Ooh, I don't know. And the Adventurers Spellbook. If I can get it out of the box. And Adventurers Backpack. So Adventurers Backpack is not a new book. I think this was originally published in 2018 or something like that. But I only had a PDF and wanted a hard copy. I definitely prefer hard copies over PDFs, although PDFs are pretty handy for referencing or snagging bits of text and stuff out of them. So anyways, let's take a quick flip through these one at a time and go from there. So, starting with the Mostrous Armory, I guess. Let's see. The accoutrements of battle. The manifold humanoids and demi-humans, orcs, gnolls, bugbears, dwarves, elves, gnomes, halflings, the giants, demons, devils, and monsters of many stripes, all must arm themselves with the accoutrements of war. These armaments are as diverse as those who wield them, ranging from the mailed fist of the bugbear to the harpy's crone stave. Some are familiar, others, however, are eerily otherworldly, entirely strange weapons conjured and adapted to the wholly different minds of those who people fantastical realms. In Mostrous Armory, Castles Crusades unleashes those weapons carried by monsters, both humanoid and monstrous, chosen and preferred weapons. For over 40 creatures mark the books, beginning, but it doesn't stop there. From the Rakshasa's blade to the giant's scythe, we give the tools to the castle keeper to bring mayhem to the players like never before. Mostrous Armory marks a whole new chapter in monster development, giving them tools of war as unique as the monsters themselves. Again, Controller Games, Castles and Crusades. I'll pause here on the front page in case you're curious who all is involved in the book. Everything from Davis and Stephen to various others. And yeah, so first printing 2025. So our table of contents, we have everything from Avia to Ungern. And I will just quickly flip through this, maybe pause on something like the bear's fist. So it gives you the stats on the weapon, a nice illustration of each item. So every item in here has an illustration to go with it, which is very handy, very nice. I do like what I'm seeing of the art so far. So anyways, they go through a number of different bugbear weapons. We get centaur weapons. Looks pretty interesting. Cyclops and the various weapons that Cyclops could use. Basically looking like a bunch of different tree options or tree stump options. Rocks. Pokey thing. Gotta love it. Fuzzy pants. I guess not only the weapons, but how the bugbear or how the cyclops or whatever creature is would likely refer to the item. Deep ones. Drydoir. That looks pretty cool. I like the art. Durgar. Interesting. Dwarves. Dwarf axe. Double-bladed, bearded axe. Nice. Shields. Dark elves. High elves. Neat stuff. Wild elf lance. Well, that looks cool. Like their spear are forged of ironwood and barbed at the tip with ornate decorations carved into the weapon. Nice. Makes me wonder what the neat. Okay. Anyways, sorry. I'd love to just grab my coffee and go spend the afternoon flipping through and reading the book, but I'm going to make this a little quicker than I am right now. Knoll weapons. Skull cup. Not exactly a weapon, but definitely a trophy, I guess, for the knoll. Gnomes. Helm shield. Interesting. Okay. Oh, goblin wagon. You gotta have a goblin wagon somewhere in the mix. Goblin battle wagon. I think there's even a couple of modules that I've seen from various other creators and other systems that have a goblin battle wagon. So seems to be a popular item. And as I flip through this, I'm always thinking, geez, I could use something like this in my Powers and Perils game and do a bit of a conversion. And always nice to have an image of the item that you're wanting to convert with, some stats that are well thought out that you can then adapt to whatever system you want to use it in. But anyways, I'm sure you'll hear me say that a few more times as we go through some of this stuff. So yeah, that is the Mostrous Armory. Nice. I'm looking forward to using that. Next up, let's go with the Adventurers Armory. An iron symphony. The sound of battle, the ringing of sword on sword, the crack of an axe as it thuds into wood and iron, the whistling arrow as it flies from the bent bow, the dull clattering of hammer on helm, and the crumpled rage of iron beaten by blade and hammer. This is the music of battle and the instruments of this symphony of death and destruction. The mace, sword, shield, helm, spears, bows are the armory of every warrior. This is the Adventurers Armory. The Adventurers Armory contains descriptions of and stats for hundreds of weapons. Clubs, maces, flails, knives, daggers, axes, swords, spears, polearms, propelled weapons, bows, crossbows, and siege weapons. Alongside these are the armors, shields, and helms used in battle throughout the ages. Each entry has its own illustration and includes a brief description of the weapon or armor, its intended purpose and use, the statistics for role-playing it. Additionally, optional rules for use of these weapons are included, as well as a brief overview of how to create one's own weapons, the tables for quick and easy reference to many hundreds of weapons and armors. Now at your hands. Now at your hand. So again, a brief pause on the front page here. Davis seems to have spent a lot of time on this book, and I think it was probably a work of love on his part. First printing, 2025, of course. And, as mentioned, clubs all the way through to armors, shields, and helms. Rules of the game, reference material. Quick pause on the forward from Davis. Not sure if you'll be able to actually pause the video and read that, but anyways, it's there. The introduction. Get into part 1 of Arms and Armor. Terminology used. Oh, EV, encumbrance value. I was wondering what that was. Been a while since I've looked at Castles and Crusades, so I'm again hoping to kick off a Castles and Crusades campaign here at some point. Part of another group that I'm with, well, actually a couple of different groups I'm part of. See if there's anybody in those groups that are interested. Pull some of them into it. And also looking forward to doing a solo Castles and Crusades at some point here in the near future as well. So maybe later in the summer into the fall. I do look to continue on with my Powers and Perils solo, but taking a little bit of a break from that as I've been pulled into a number of other systems and games and other things that I've been doing. And with the spring coming up here, that's also taken up a lot of my time. So I've been not filming or not recording as much as I would have liked. Anyways, that's beside the point here. Clubs. Again, looks like a description of the different parts of a club and getting into the various clubs. Antler Club, damage range 1 to 2. Agoro. Looks more like a sword, but I guess it's a piece of flattened wood with a short handle shaped like a sword. One or both sides are beveled into a sharp edge, effectively making a wooden sword. So 2 to 4 damage. Blunt and slashing. 5 damage. So yeah, all sorts of different clubs. Jawbone Club. I could see some primitive tribe using that. Wonder if that club that I had in my in that Powers and Perils adventure conversion I did is in here somewhere. Would have thought it would have been in clubs, but maybe it's in. I don't see it here, so start with an M. I can never quite pronounce it right, but anyways, so that's the clubs. We get into knives. Looks like a plethora of different knives. Biodag. Interesting. 2 to 4 damage. Breakage on a 6. Durability 40. Anyways, yeah, so that's standard knife. Pretty wild looking blades here. Daggers. A nice bevy of daggers. Interesting. Neat stuff. I like, having images of every single weapon, I think, is a huge bonus. And definitely gives you a little bit more flavor and understanding of what it is your character is actually wielding. And it's maces and hammers. And then, actually, again, as I quote back to my Powers and Perils and my keen interest in Powers and Perils, I look at some of this stuff and go, I could probably adapt a few of these things into my Powers and Perils house rules. Give a little more variety and flavor to some of the weapons. But I also look forward to just running Castles and Crusades and taking advantage of all this stuff. I wonder if there's going to be a module for Fantasy Grounds. My main VTT is Fantasy Grounds, although I do have a number of other systems, everything from Alchemy to actually I avoid Roll20. I just have a keen dislike for Roll20 for some reason. But anyways, I do know that Roller Games has moved everything off of the standard storefront on Fantasy Grounds and Steam for whatever reason, and they put their stuff into, I think they put it into the Forge on Fantasy Grounds. Not sure why, but makes it a little more challenging anyways. Let's see, swords. Lots of different swords. Probably more realistic comparative damage between the weapons than just saying a sword is a D8 which includes everything from long swords to sabers and whatever else. Small swords. Yeah, so ooh, there we go. Two-hander, D10 plus 2. Did I actually talk about a two-handed sword at all? No, you basically have to look for the specific type of sword rather than a category of sword. So that's kind of cool. Let's see, what do we have next here? Curved swords. Nice. Falchion. 2 to 8. So I guess with the variety of different weapons here, you obviously wouldn't want to use every single weapon as you know, standardly available items in your campaign, more than likely. But it does give you the option as you build out your world, you can pick and choose what weapons and probably what armor you want to include for the different cultures or different areas of your world, and have some handful of items available uniquely to those areas. Spears and lances. Some nasty looking blades. I guess once you stab somebody with that, you're not sure if you're going to be getting that back or you're tearing them apart getting it back. Anyways. So lots of interesting looking items here as well. Let's keep floating through this stuff. This is pole arms. Mr. Gary Gygax was a big fan of pole arms. I get the feeling. You know, he had very extensive pole arms in some of the original D&D work, AD&D particularly. Propelled weapons. Everything from bola to things you throw, I guess. Neat. Bows. Kind of keen on this section. I can, again, looking to likely adapt a few of these into powers and perils. But yeah, lots of options here. No idea how that would work. I think I have to do a bit of a Google on that one and get a bit more insight into it. Composite flex bow. Oh, I bet you pull those around the other side. Neat. All right. Small bow. Recurve. Viking bow. Neat. All right, crossbows. Various and sundry crossbows. Unclassified unique weapons. Brass knuckles. Neat. What a cestus. Gauntlet. Nice, nice, nice. Sap. Unique flail. Oh, there it is. The Makoato. Again, no idea how to actually pronounce that properly, but I guess it is here. Not sure why they wouldn't have just put it in the club section. But anyways. Yeah, all sorts of cool and wonderful things to add to your game. Or you could take these and convert them into any OD&D or OSR type system. Siege engines, war wagons, battle wagons, battering rams, cool, ladders, siege towers, ballista, and I'm sure there are catapults. There they are. Ammunition, armor. All right, so I guess we're into the armor section. Talk about the different components of the armor, which is very handy. And the different components, materials and make for armor. And then they get into armor types. Looks like they've broken it down into 5 types. Type 1, light armors, usually made of leather, hide, quilted fabrics, bone, and similar materials, all the way to Type 2, incorporates cloth, leather, and metal. Type 3, significant advancement in designs. These armors use metal for much of the coverage. Splinted, lamellar, mail, plate, and other. Type 4, highest achievement in armor design. Not only do they offer superior protection, they do so with only slightly impacting the movement of the wearer. These armors are weight is distributed. Universally plate mail and mail splint suits. Type 5. The height of armor protection or production, well articulated, allowing great maneuverability while providing plate coverage on the entire body. Neat. All right, and again, gotta love pictures. There's your wood shell, bone shell, bone breastplate, bone shell breastplate, however you want to, whatever order you want to use those in. Lamellars, leather suit, padded jerkin, hide suit, just what every barbarian out there wants. Be happy to run around in. Studded leather jacket. And of course the AC bonus. Neat. Boiled leather suit +4. Action modifier -1. 8.5 pounds, basically. Neat. Neat. Breastplates. Coat of plates. And then we get into type 4s. Lamellar and chain. I like the variety. That would be super cool in to add to a campaign. And all the way up to Gauntlet, Gothic plate, field plate, +7, +8, +9. Nice. Action modifier -2, -3. Versus some of these other ones, the zeros. Interesting how they have a 0 and a -0. Minor thing. Shields. All right, here's where I can definitely take all the house shield rules that I've done and apply some little better, a little more real life to it, I guess. But anyways, heater shield. Neat. Karma. Meduva. Light shield. Small metal shields. Medium shield. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Definitely some cool stuff in here. Tower shield. And we get into helmets. And again, we go through the same type 1 to type 5. Everything from leather type 1 small and encumbering helms to, as you get into, I think, type 2s and type 3s, they start covering more of the head, maybe blocking your vision a bit more. Perception, yeah, changes to your perception chance. Yeah, great little images of everything. Nice art. And the rule changes. Simplified description of combat, fuller description of combat, initiative, armor class, hit points, weapon damage, defense optional, damage reduction optional. So some optional rules you can add to your game where you're blocking the damage of a weapon based on the type of armor and stuff you have, I think. My guess, anyways. Breakage. Yeah, so this optional rule allows armor and shields to reduce the amount of damage received. Armor and shields can act mitigate any damage a character takes. The range of that reduction is listed for the armor, helm, and shield. All damage reduction is given as a range, not a static number. This is the amount of damage the armor absorbs after a successful hit is scored. Armor offers no damage reduction if the prone or defenseless. If the character is prone or defenseless, I guess. Durability, head AC. Only applies to helmets. Size, strength to use armor. Strength to wield a weapon. Weapon types. Ooh, neat. And yeah, again, some neat art thrown in. I like the pencil drawn art or whatever. Nice stuff. Armor as damage reduction. And yeah, and then what else do we have here? How to generate your own armor and weapons. Various tables that you can apply to whatever it is you're trying to create. Very cool. Oh, and then I guess this would be part 3, the reference material. So it looks like all the tables of all the weapons and armor that they've provided you in the book. Very handy reference. So yeah, there's the Adventure Armory book, Adventurers Armory. I probably spent a bit more time on that than I'd planned to. Let's go to war mounts. All right. So rising up from the din of battle comes the low rumble of a great host. The king's cavalry, a score of 100 men, sat upon mighty beasts of war, thundered across the battlefield, laying ruin and carnage in their wake. In this book, you will find absolutely everything you need to know about mounts of both mundane and magical varieties, from the warhorse to the elephant, or warhorse and the elephant to the Pegasus owlbear, venom-spitting wyvern. This book has it all. Also within this volume are specialized mechanics for acquiring, rearing, and training various beasts, allowing characters to form deeper bonds with their animal or monstrous friends. New rules for mounted combat are provided, which serve to offer more streamlined, immersive, and exciting experience when wading into battle astride anything from a pony to a giant vampire bat. Cool. So let's make this a little bit faster. So again, there's the front of the book, again by Stephen. And the introduction. Everything from training, warhorses, inexperienced riders, animal mounts, magical beasts. Magical beats? I think they mean beasts. Don't know why I pick up on those little things, but anyways, untrained mounts at war. Firing a war mount. Rearing from young, purchase, subdual, keeper's guide, summoned. Mounts in battle. Fighting while mounted. Feeding the mount. Starving mounts. Cost of equipment. Oh, time needed to feed. A 1,000-pound horse can eat roughly 1.5 pounds of pasture grass per hour. Feeding the horse requires about 11 hours of grazing time. Wow. Explanation of entries. All right, so we have Axbeak. Withers are at 7 feet. Weighs 500 pounds. Length of 6 feet. Max rider height of 6 feet. Max rider weight, which probably includes all the equipment and everything else they want to carry, 400 pounds. Neat stuff. All right. Giant bat, a bear. Oh, interesting. 5 foot height, 350 pounds. I would have thought there would have been a bit more. A boar, a camel, or cat, chimera. No dragon. dragon and a dragonfly. Elephant. How much can an elephant carry? 2,000 pounds. No. Elk. Griffin. Hellhound. Hippogriff. Let's see. A horse, one riding. Light warhorse. Heavy warhorse. Skeletal warhorse. Warhound. Just for your little halfling or goblin. 150 pounds, 4 feet height max. Manticore, mules, ponies, Pegasus. Lots of options. A rock, seahorse, giant spider. 3.5 feet and 100 pounds, so not that big of a spider. Turtles, unicorn, warg. There we go. 250 pounds, 5 feet. So again, not a whole lot, but your typical warg riding goblin and wyvern. So yeah, that's war mounts. Let's get on to expanding classes. Squared or 2, depending on what you want to do there. Nice little picture. All right. Most everyone wants an edge, an angle that allows them to take that extra step, achieve that extra goal, surprise that enemy. This angle in hard-fought battles with certain loss can turn and snatch victory from the jaws of disaster. Expanding classes is just that angle. Herein, we delve into all the classes drawn from the Player's Handbook and Adventurer's Backpack, and unleash the power of multi-classing, enhanced classes, and switching classes. Create new characters that combine the powers of several classes, or breathe life into old characters long used to the campaign trail by switching classes. Expand your game with Expanding Classes2. What do we got here? So, let's see. Mark Sandy. Second printing, 2025. Introduction, expanding classes, multi-classing, enhanced classing, class plus, dual classing, reclassing. So basically goes through talking about the multi-classing armor restrictions for multi-classing, enhanced classes, skills versus bonuses, and proficiencies of supporting classes. Armor restrictions, spell restrictions. So we'll get into the archer, assassin. Don't want to spend too much time on this because there's probably more to it than my quick flip through, or some more thought that could be put into how you want to apply it. So yeah, that's that is, and then dual classing and reclassing. That is expanding classes. Adventure Spellbook. And so this, spells. The heart and soul of the magic system in Castles and Crusades are spells. And now, for the first time, we have gathered them into a mountainous collection for all the spellcasters, arcane, divine, and runic. Arcane and divine. Herein are amassed the spells for clerics, druids, wizards, and illusionists. All the arcane and divine spells to complete your spellcaster's needs. Rune spells. You will also find a complete collection of all the codices of rune spells within these pages, from the shadow runes to the 4 pillars. They are all here. Over 200 new rune spells for your Rune Mark and Castles and Crusades game. Oh, Chromatic Mage. It also includes the tables and information on the oft discussed but hard to find Chromatic Mage. And this was originally published in 2021. Again, just another book that I didn't have, but it was an opportunity to get a physical copy of it. So snagged it with the bundle, the backer bundle. Again, the druid spells, or cleric, druid, wizard, illusionist, spell descriptions, runic magic, haven't really looked at the runic magic at all in the past. I know there's a rune mage or rune something in one of the books, and the chromatic mage. And here the page is still somewhat stuck together. Complete spell list by level. Nice. Lots of spells to choose from. And druid spells. Wizard spells. And then we get into illusionist spell format. Oh, and then we get into the spell description. So an alphabetic list of all the spells. That's handy. So great reference to have. Nice to always be able to go to a single source instead of flipping through a bunch of books, which I'll probably touch on as I get into my 4 Against Darkness that I've been playing lately. But anyways, yeah. So that is all the spells. Get into the back of the book here, and we get into the runic magic. Nice. Runes of the Initiate. And neat. So blood rune, get into all the descriptions of all the different rune types. Battle runes, and I guess last but not least in the book here, there should be the chromatic mage. Or chromatic magic. Yeah, chromatic magic. The chromatic mage. And yeah, so that is... Oh, hang on, what's this? This looks intriguing. Spellbooks. The following are spellbooks that can be used for treasure in your adventure. 7 categories of spellbooks are provided. Each category contains the range of spells contained in those books. For example, there are 8 books in category 3, with each book containing spells from 1st to 5th level. Books 1 to 10. Yeah, so a thin silk-sewn leather book embossed with a name and sigil. Neat. So it gives you a nice description of the book and what spells are in it. I could see that being crazy handy. Nice. All right. And the OGL, of course. All right, so that is the Adventurer's Spellbook. And last but not least, again, this book, the Adventurer's Backpack, was released in 2018, if I remember correctly. First printing, yeah, 2018. Adventurer's Backpack, Unlocked Arcana. Adventurer's Backpack brings to the table 13 new classes, mountains of spells for all classes, counter spells, and spell duels. A fresh, easy-to-use approach to unarmed combat, war mounts, rune magic, and a new look at polearms. Backpacks for every campaign. But more than that, Adventurer's Backpack delivers a new, innovative approach to equipment and equipping your character. There are 34 unique backpacks, complete with all the equipment your character will need. Each backpack comes with cost, weight, and encumbrance value. These backpacks cover it all. There are class-based backpacks for all the character classes, general purpose backpacks for dungeons and overland, and special purpose packs such as the Medic or Dungeon Mappers pack. Equipping your character has never been so easy. Adventurer's Backpack brings whole new dimension to your Castles and Crusades game. So yeah, let's just do a quick look here. Nice art as always. And yeah, so there's the table of contents. A bevy of stuff. And then they get into the different classes. Arcane Thieves, Archers, Divine Knights, Ethereal Knight, Forsworn, Magic User, Oathsworn, Pacer, Primal Druids, Rune Mark, Seekers, Scalds, Thieves, and Warrior Priest. Nice. Alright, so again, all the different classes. I won't delve into that too much. And then we get into the equipment section. So a plethora of helms and armor and shields if you want to stick with some basic stuff, or you can get into the new book and expand on these even more. Where are the backpacks, or the packs? Equipment, metal equipment, clothing, material multipliers, burlap, calf race, calfskin, 25% more. Expert backpacks. There we go. Common backpacks. Dungeon basic backpack. Large expert shoulder pack. Internal contents. A set of bandages. Small steel flask. Adventure supplies. Oh, neat. Okay. I can see that being very handy. Pick a pack and go. City basic. Cold weather backpack. Desert backpack. Mountain backpack. Artisan backpack. Brewmaster's backpack. Neat. I think they've pretty much captured everything. So yeah, that is the packs, and then the dive into the polearms. Talking about reach and other things. I have a feeling that most of these are covered and then some in the new book. Unarmed combat, battle mounts, and what's this? Magic classes, bards. I think this is the spell list for the new spells in here. The new classes in here. Rune magic. And yeah, so that is, and then of course the spell lists, new magic items. Good stuff. Anyway, so that is a quick look at the book, at the various and sundry books that just showed up in my mail. I'm happy I got the box before the Canada Post mail strike that is looming, so that's always a good thing. But yeah, so anyways, everybody, thanks for joining me again. If you like the stuff, please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon thingy. And hopefully that was kind of interesting. I'll put links to all the stuff that is available on drive-through down in the notes down below. And yeah, thanks for joining me. Hopefully you found this interesting. And I'll catch you later.